Hare Krishna. Thank you all for adjusting at the new time. I will briefly explain. Let's start with invocation.
Can I do, Prabhu?
Go ahead.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjalashalakaya Satguru Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovisyam Sthabinam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tatanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yudapadakamadam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunantavitam Chajivam Satvaitam Savadudam Parijanasakitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakavitam Cha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostade तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी ऋषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णव्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री दादारा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you. That was very nice reciting the invocation in a singing tone. That's very nice way of reciting. Thank you. So first for this today's revised time. So if you recall, many months ago, I had explained to you that my own Srimad Bhagavatam study classes will start. And it was going to clash with the with your batch's class time as well as Saturday's both class times. So what I opted for is I opted for a different batch, although it's a lot of an effort for me. So the normal batch where I completed the first part of the Bhakti Vaibhav, that batch is still Saturday time. Toronto time is 9 a.m. So I cannot do your class as well as I cannot do the batch 6 and 7 Bhagavad Gita class because it straddles across both classes. Therefore, I opted for a different batch. It's from the same Mayapur Institute, just a different batch. The only challenge for me is that now I have 2 classes to attend every day. Means my Srimad Bhagavatam Bhakti Vaibhav course will run very fast. Plus the time for me is very odd. So my class times in the other batch that I have chosen, so as to not disrupt the rest of the batch classes, the class time is Friday 9:30 p.m. to 12 midnight, and then Saturday 9:30 p.m. to 12 midnight. So I have classes on both days, as well as the time is very odd because there are devotees across all batches, across all over the world. And it's just that today there was this orientation for multiple batches, which happened in the morning time here, Toronto time, at 8 a.m. Therefore, I had to revise for this batch 1 and 2 just for today. So it will not impact our regular batches, except when there are exams. I may have to change on that particular week, but we'll see as we progress. Something impacts. Thank you all for adjusting for this one time. All right, so the next thing that we'll discuss today is now that we have Shivangi and Shalini present among us. So let's discuss your experience from the time when my Guru Maharaj was here. There were a lot of learnings that you all had. If you can please share for the benefit of everyone.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna, go ahead.
So I can just share. So I had registered for the regional book conference and, 3 days to have Maharaj's association, like truly blessed to have his association and to learn how to distribute Bhagavad Gita and of course Srimad Bhagavatam. But for Bhagavad Gita, Maharaj actually demonstrated exactly how to do, and then we were doing mock and there was a lot of training involved, and then
Yeah.
we did go on book distribution also, and
Yeah.
to see Maharaj doing the book distribution, like I was going through so many filters. Should I approach, should I not, this person does me not, but Maharaj is just talking to anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
And just to be around his energy was really an experience for me.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, my Guru Maharaj's ability and his energy is from spiritual world. It's literally out of the world. Very good. What else?
Prabhu, just one more thing to add. The last day Kirtan before Maharaj left, that was like truly ecstatic. So Gopal and myself both were there. Like of course, Maharaj's energy and how it was transferred to everybody and how the entire mood of everybody changed, Prabhu. So it was truly ecstatic.
Yeah, very good. So what else? What was the learnings? You had a lot of learnings.
You finished telling first.
Maharaj's energy, of course, probably we could all make out. There's a different, I mean, at least for me, I could feel the whole atmosphere, everything gets transformed into a very different
Correct.
situation. I mean, there's
Yeah,
absolutely, you can feel that actually. Huge difference.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, his energy is from spiritual world. Very good. What else? Shivangi, Shalini, you had a lot of learning experiences.
So, Prabhu, yeah, one learning was, you had asked us immediately after honoring Prasadam in the morning to come and see you. So we never did that. None of us followed that because we were busy trying to get everybody together, get all the devotees together. So by that time, I think there was so much of time which was lost, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So this is
So
one.
this is very important about the attention span. I discussed this in other batches also, that I have sent a message to all of them and like a minute later, they are doing something else. So we have to be conscious of our attention span, that our bottom line goal is to be able to remember Krishna. So I'm not saying anything as chastisement. I'm just trying to highlight a point that our mind is very strong and keeps dragging us away. We just have to be very conscious of this. Very good. Shivangi?
Yes, Prabhuji, it was really nice seeing everybody. And when the conference started, you told us to stop doing service and just go and attend it. And it was nice.
Explain what did you do? So there was an event, and then there was a 10-minute break, and then there was another event. What did you do in that 10 minute?
Yeah, in that 10-minute like transition time, you forced us to do service, so we didn't waste any time. And then when the conference started, we went there.
Yeah, so all devotees in the 10 minutes, they cut salad for more than 150 devotees. That was a very big tray that they cut in 10 minutes. So they were not wasting time at all. Other devotees, some could be doing japa. They were doing that. I'm not saying everybody was wasting, but many were just waiting. So this is how you learn from spiritual master, that my spiritual master had meetings with devotees, but then something else got on his plate and all the meetings were cancelled for a day and then had to be rescheduled. So for one of the meetings with one of my god brother, So my Guru Maharaj has to walk for his bodily maintenance. So he's just not walking, he's using the walking time to conduct meetings. That with this particular devotee, his 10-minute walk, he's walking with other devotee, giving me instructions. This is the level of spirituality for spiritual masters, that they are not wasting a second. Continuously they are engaged in spiritual activities. Very good. What else?
Yes, Prabhuji, even I watched that Japa walk of Prabhu.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he was discussing. Even at that time also I was thinking, I don't know how much energy he has got.
Yeah.
I think it's Krishna is with him only.
Correct.
Because I followed the first day that in the temple he did the bhajan and everything.
Yeah.
So energetic, making everybody. They are automatically, even I have started singing with him.
Correct.
At home.
So very good point about energies, that I actually take a day off from work to rest after my Guru Maharaj leaves, because I'm exhausted in the amount of time he makes us run when he's physically here. But what is Guru Maharaj doing? Next day, he's at a different center doing the same thing. He's not tired at all.
Yes, that also I watched Prabhu. So I was thinking for a moment, I wish I also get this much of energy.
Yeah,
Really,
because
he is energy personified.
because that is spiritual energy, right? I am at bodily level energy. Therefore, I get tired that next day I have to take a day off and just sleep, 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 sleep. Okay, very good observation, Shalini.
Prabhu, another thing about energy only, Prabhu, like Maharaj, his association from the first day till the last day, like as you were saying, like towards the end, I was tired, Prabhu, but Maharaj is the Kirtan.
Yeah.
There's no dot of change of energy, Prabhu. So it's truly he's from the spiritual world.
Yeah. And what happened about the test? So we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 8, that spiritual master's duty is to test. So, Shalini, you want to share?
Yeah, Prabhu. So, we had requested meeting with Guru Maharaj, and because of his schedule change, so that was not possible. So you had a conversation with myself and Paulomi that, Guru Maharaj is not able to do it, and Guru Ma, she herself, instead of calling you, she herself came and, she just mentioned that it will not be possible. So in that conversation, I was asking that, if we can't meet Guru Maharaj, can we meet Guru Ma? So this is like, Dhruv Maharaj, we had studied in Srimad Bhagavatam that the spiritual master tells him, go away. And, I was just thinking like, I did not follow that. And I was still asking if it's still possible, Prabhu.
Yeah. So, very good. Thank you. So, even though you all are not yet disciples, but still you got tested. So, this is a very good sign that we have to be very conscious. So, spiritual master will test you. Now that I already said, test is not to fail you. Before the test, you all already got the mercy and the glance from Guru Ma and Guru Maharaj. And later on, Guru Maharaj himself asked me to come meet him and spoke to me about all of you all for all the batches. So he said he will try to find some time to come to one of our classes for all the batches together. We'll see. I mean, his schedule is super jam packed, so not sure. And luckily, Shalini's cousin Nitya in Houston. So my Guru Maharaj is in Houston today and tomorrow. So I messaged Nitya, and Nitya is also going to try to meet him tomorrow morning during the morning program. Very good. So you all got a lot of association. You all did a lot of very good services, direct service. Many of you did direct services. Indirect for sure, but also direct services. So all this is how you progress on the path of spirituality. Questions, comments, realizations? So those of you who are in India, you can let me know when to stop. I know it will get late for you in India. We can do the whole 1.5 hour class, or after 1 hour, you let me know that if your energy is completely getting drained out, then we can just stop and we'll continue at our following class. So let's discuss. So we'll start unit number 17, which is titled Prithu Maharaj Part 1. Unit 17 covers Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapters 13 to 19. So on the screen, you have that Canto 4 overview chart. And what is highlighted on the screen at the C part, which is Unit 17 and Unit 18, both are about Prithu Maharaj. This is where we are. Now it's just continuation from Dhruv Maharaj's family. Therefore, on the screen, I also have Dhruv Maharaj. Yes, it's Dhruv Maharaj's family history continues, and we'll discuss about Prithu Maharaj in great length in Unit 17 and 18. So all the names that I have, they are just only very few of the important personalities. There are a lot many names that will come through as we go through the chapters. Shalini Gopal.
Prabhu, sorry, I just wanted to take a screenshot, Prabhu, of the second slide. If you could just put it again.
I will bring all 3 slides again.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So here's the overview of the entire Canto 4. And what is highlighted as part C about Unit 17, 18 is about Prithu Maharaj. All right. So chapter 13 is titled Description of the Descendants of Dhruv Maharaj and is divided into 5 parts. Part 1 is verses 1 to 5. Vidura inquires about Prachetas. Part 2 is verses 16, part 2 is verse 6 to 20. Maitreya Muni describes the descendants of Dhruva. Part 3, verses 21 to 24. Vidura's astonishment and inquiry about Vena. Part 5. Oh, I did not give part 4. Part 4.
Part 4.
Yeah, part 4 is verses 25 to 39. Maitreya Muni describes events leading to Vena's birth. Part 5, verses 40 to 49. Anga leaves home due to Vena's atrocities. Everybody got all the parts?
Yes, Prabhu.
So in Canto 4, the previous chapter 12, in verse 41 to 43, Vidura, hearing that Srila Narad Muni glorified Dhruv Maharaj at the sacrifice of Prachetas, therefore, at the start of this chapter 13, Vidura is inquiring about Prachetas. Now, from Dhruv Maharaj to Prachetas, Maitreya Muni is describing everyone in between as well. So although the first verses we'll read soon talk about Prachetas, but then the description starts about Prithu Maharaj because there are so many descendants between Dhruv Maharaj and Prachetas, and Maitreya Muni is describing all of them. So hearing about Dhruv Maharaj in the previous chapters, Vidura is already enlightened with devotional emotion. The crux of our discussion today in this chapter 13 is in verse number 37, that sometimes the Lord arranges an unfortunate wife like Sunita, or a cruel son like Vena for his devotee like Anga, so that the devotee gradually detaches from wife and home so as to progress in devotional life. Plus, the other point is that people without a son are actually fortunate, and that a bad son is better than a good son. So we'll discuss all these important points. Shivangi, verse 1 to 5 translation, chapter 13.
Hare Krishna, text 1. Sutta Goswami continued to speak to all the rishis headed by Shamakasat. After hearing Maitreya Rishi describe Dhruva Maharaja's ascent to Lord Vishnu's abode, Vidura became very much enlightened in devotional emotion, and he inquired from Maitreya as follows. Text 2. Vidura inquired from Maitreya, O greatly advanced devotee, who were the Prachetas? To which family did they belong? Whose sons were they? And where did they perform the great sacrifices? Vidura continued, I know that the great sage Narada is the greatest of all devotees. He has compiled the Pancharatrika procedure of devotional service and has directly met the Supreme Personality of Godhead. While all the Prachetas were executing religious rituals and sacrificial ceremonies, and thus worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his satisfaction, the great sage Narada described the transcendental qualities of Dhruva Maharaja. But dear Brahmana, how did Narada Muni glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and what pastimes were described in that meeting? I am very eager to hear them. Kindly explain fully about the glorification of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
So they are straightforward. It's inquiries about Prachetas. So part 2 is verses 66. Again, say 60. Part 2 is verse 6 to 20. Maitreya Muni describes the descendants of Dhruva. So Dhruva Maharaj's elder son's name is Utkala. He did not accept the throne because to the less intelligent people, Utkala appeared as foolish. Actually, Utkala was not foolish. Hence, the analogy of fire covered with ashes is described. In verses 7 to 9 are described elevated qualities of Utkala. Chandran Prabhu, verse 6 to 9 translation.
Hare Krishna. Verse 6. The great sage Maitreya replied, My dear Vidura, when Maharaja Dhruva departed for the forest, his son Utkala did not desire to accept the opulent throne of his father, which was meant for the ruler of all the lands of this planet. Text 7. Translation from his very birth, Utkala was fully satisfied and unattached to the world. He was equipoised, for he could see everything resting in the super soul and the super soul present in everyone's heart. Text 8 and 9. By expansion of his knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, he had already attained liberation from the bondage of the body. This liberation is known as nirvana. He was situated in transcendental bliss and continued always in that blissful existence, which he expanded more and more. This was possible for him by continued practice of Bhakti Yoga, which is compared to fire because it burns away all dirty material things. He was always situated in his constitutional position of self-realization, and he could not see anything else but the Supreme Lord and himself engaged in discharging devotional service.
All right. And then verses 10 and 11 describe that the younger son, Vatsara, the younger son of Dhruv Maharaj, he was made king. Chandran Prabhu, 10 and 11 also.
Text 10. Utkala appeared to the less intelligent persons on the road to be foolish, blind, dumb, deaf, and mad. Although actually he was not so, he remained like fire covered with ashes without blazing flames. Text 11. For this reason, the ministers and all the elderly members of the family thought Utkala to be without intelligence and in fact mad. Thus, his younger brother, named Vatsara, the son of Brahmi, was elevated to the royal throne and he became king of the world.
Okay, straightforward that Utkala did not accept the throne and the younger brother Vatsara became the king. Verses 12 to 18 describe the family tree further and are also straightforward verses. Gopal Prabhu, 12 to 18 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 12 translation. King Vatsara had a very dear wife whose name was Swarvithi, and she gave birth to 6 sons named Pushparna, Tigmaketu, Isha, Urja, Vasu, and Jaya. Text 13. Translation. Pushparna had 2 wives named Prabha and Dosha. Prabha had 3 sons named Pratar, Madhyanidinam, and Sayam. Text 14. Dosha had 3 sons, Pradosha, Nishita, and Vyusta. Vyusta's wife was named Pushkarini, and she gave birth to a very powerful son named Sarvateja. Text 15 and 16 translation. Sarvateja's wife Akuti gave birth to a son named Sakusha, who became the 6th Manu at the end of the Manu millennium. Nadwala, the wife of Sakusha Manu, gave birth to the following faultless sons: Puru, Kutsha, Trita, Dyumna, Satyavan, Vritha, Agnistama, Athiratra, Pradyumna, and Sibi and Ulmuka. Text 17 translation. Of the 12 sons, Ulmuka begot 6 sons in his wife Pushkarini. They were all very good sons, and their names were Anga, Sumana, Kayati, Kritu, Angira, and Gaya. Text 18 translation. The wife of Anga, Sunita, gave birth to a son named Veena, who was very crooked. The saintly king Anga was very disappointed with Veena's bad character, and he left home and kingdom and went out to the forest. Hare Krishna.
So straightforward descendants are described. So Anga was a very saintly king, while Anga's son Vena was of bad character. Therefore, Anga is disgusted with Vena and he leaves home. Mother Jija, 19 and 20 translation.
Text 19 and 20. Translation. My dear Vidura, when great sages curse, their words are as invincible as a thunderbolt. Thus, when they cursed King Vena, out of anger he died. After his death, since there was no king, all the rogues and thieves flourished. The kingdom became unregulated. The great sages took the right hand of Vena as churning rod, and as a result of their churning, Lord Vishnu, in his partial representation, made his advent as King Prutu, the original emperor of the world. Hare Krishna.
And now is part 3, verses 21 to 24. Vidura's astonishment and inquiry about Vena. So Vidura is astonished that how can a good king have a bad son? As well as Vidura also inquires, why did the sages who are conversant with dharma go on to curse King Vena, that because of which the Vena died? Vidura is surprised with these and he is inquiring for all of us. Shalini, 21 to 24 translation.
Text 21. Vidura inquired from the sage Maitreya, My dear Brahmana, King Anga was very gentle. He had high character and was a saintly personality and lover of Brahmanical culture. How is it that such a great soul got a bad son like Vena, because of whom he became indifferent to his kingdom and left it? Text 22. Vidura also inquired, how is it that the great sages, who were completely conversant with religious principles, desired to curse King Vena, who himself carried the rod of punishment and thus awarded him the greatest punishment, Brahma Sapa? Text 23. It is a duty of all citizens in the state never to insult the king, even though he sometimes appears to have done something very sinful. Because of his prayers, the king is always more influential than all other ruling chiefs. Text 24. Vidura requested Maitreya, My dear Brahmana, you are well conversant with all subjects, both past and future. Therefore, I wish to hear from you all the activities of King Vena. I am your faithful devotee, so please explain this. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada explains in verse number 23 purport that Vena was cursed because his sinful activities were very grievous. And now, part 4 is verses 25 to 39, that Maitreya Muni describes events leading to Vena's birth. So even though Anga performed the Ashwamedha Yajna properly, still the demigods did not come to the Yajna. And Anga inquired with the sages whether he has done any offenses. So the priest informed Anga that Anga has done nothing wrong in this life. But due to his sin of the previous life, therefore the demigods did not come to the Yajna. Uncle, 25 to 30 translations.
25 to
30.
Hare Krishna. Text 25, translation this. Sri Maitreya replied, My dear Vidura, once the great king Anga arranged to perform the great sacrifice known as Aswamedha. All the expert Brahmanas present knew how to invite the demigods, but in spite of their efforts, no demigods participated or appeared in that sacrifice. Text 26. The priests engaged in the sacrifice then informed King Anga, O king, we are properly offering the clarified butter in the sacrifice, but despite all our efforts, the demigods do not accept it. Text 27. O king, we know that the paraphernalia to perform the sacrifice is well collected by you with great faith and care, and is not polluted. Our chanting of the Vedic hymn is also not deficient in any way, for all the Brahmanas and the priests present here are expert and are executing the performances properly. Text 28. Dear King, we do not find any reason that the demigods should feel insulted or neglected in any way. But still, the demigods who are witnesses for the sacrifice do not accept their shares. We do not know why this is so. Text 29. Maitreya explained that King Anga, after hearing the statements of the priest, was greatly aggrieved. At that time, he took permission from the priest to break his silence and inquired from all the priests who are present in the sacrificial arena. Text 30. King Anga addressed the priestly order. My dear priest, kindly tell me what offense I have committed. Although invited, the demigods are neither taking part in the sacrifice nor accepting their shares. Hare Krishna.
In verse number 28 purport, Srila Prabhupada explains to be careful not to do seva aparadh, means not to do offenses while you're doing services. Otherwise, Shri Radha Krishna do not accept our offering. Uncle, 28 purport.
Hare Krishna. It is indicated herein that if there is negligence on the part of the priest, the demigods do not accept their share in sacrifices. Similarly, in devotional service, there are offenses known as seva aparadha. Those who are engaged in worshipping the deity Radha and Krishna in the temple should avoid such offenses in service. The offenses in service are described in the Nectar of Devotion. If we simply make a show of offering services to the deity, but do not care for the seva aparadha, certainly the Radha Krishna deity will not accept offerings from such non-devotees. Devotees engaged in temple worship should therefore not manufacture their own methods, but should strictly follow the regulative principles of cleanliness, and then the offerings will be accepted. Hare Krishna.
Right, so seva aparadha is important not to do. And therefore, when we go for services, we all try to be very mindful that we are in like-minded devotee association and no chit-chat. We try to focus on Krishna and verses and try as much as possible not to do offenses. They may still happen, offenses, but we try our best to not do offenses because it's important. Otherwise, Shri Radha Krishna are not accepting our offering. So the priest suggests a solution to Anga that try to please the Lord and ask for a boon for a son. Mother Chandrahanti, 31 to 34 translations.
Text 31. The head priest said, O king, in this life we do not find any sinful activity, even within your mind. So you are not in the least offensive. But we can see that in your previous life, you performed sinful activities due to which, in spite of your having all qualifications, you have no son. 32. O king, we wish all good fortune for you. You have no son, but if you pray at once to the Supreme Lord and ask for a son, and if you execute the sacrifice for that purpose, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will fulfill your desire. 33. When Hari, the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifice, is invited to fulfill your desire for a son, all the demigods will come with him and take their shares in the sacrifice. Text 34. The performer of sacrifice under karma kanda activities achieves the fulfillment of the desire for which he worships the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Straightforward verses. Abhishek Prabhu, 35 to 37 translation.
Prabhuji, I am not able to read today.
Okay. Shalini, 35 to 37.
Text 35. Thus, for the sake of a son, for Lord Anga, they decided to offer oblations to Lord Vishnu, who is situated in the heart of all living entities. Text 36. As soon as the oblation was offered in the fire, a person appeared from the fire altar, wearing a golden garland and a white dress. He was carrying a gold pot filled with rice boiled in milk. Text 37. The king was very liberal, and after taking permission from the priests, he took the preparation in his joint palms, and after smelling it, offered a portion to his wife. Hare Krishna.
Shalini, 37 purport also.
Okay. 37 purport. The word udara diha is significant in this connection. The wife of King Sunita was not fit to accept this benediction. Yet the king was so liberal that without hesitation, he offered to his wife the boiled rice in milk prasada received from the Yagya Purusha. Of course, everything is designed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As will be explained in later verses, this incident was not very favorable for a king. Since the king was very liberal, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to increase his detachment from this material world, willed that a cruel son be born of the queen, so that the king would have to leave home. As stated above, Lord Vishnu fulfills the desires of the karmis as they desire, but the Lord fulfills the desire of a devotee in a different way, so that the devotee may gradually come to him. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. The Lord gives the devotee the opportunity to make progress further and further so that he may come back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
So this is the crux of our discussion today in this chapter 13, verse 37. That sometimes the Lord arranges an unfortunate wife like Sunita. So Sunita is daughter of death personified, and or the Lord arranges a cruel son like Vena for his devotee like Anga, so that the devotee gradually detaches from wife and home so as to progress in devotional life. So we read in verse 37, and the question is, what is the difference in how the Lord fulfills the respective desires of karmis and devotees? Lord Vishnu fulfills desires of karmis as they desire. But the Lord fulfills the desire of devotee in a different way so that the devotee may gradually come to him. And this is what the Lord says in 10.10. Tadami buddhi yogam tam. That which kind of intelligence he gives? The answer is yena mam upayantite. That so that he can come back to me. This is Bhagavad Gita 10.10. So the Lord gives the devotee the opportunity to make progress further and further so that he may come back home, back to Godhead. So in order to increase his detachment from this world, the Supreme Personality of Godhead willed that a cruel son be born of Sunita so that King Anga would have to leave home. So Anga's wife Sunita was daughter of Mrityu. Mrityu is death personified. Therefore, she gave birth to a cruel son, Vena. And Vidura's question that how can the devotee Anga have a cruel son Vena is explained in the next two verses. Shivangi, 38, 39 translations.
In Krishna text 38, although the queen had no son after eating that food which had the power to produce a male child, she became pregnant by her husband, and in due course of time she gave birth to a son. That boy was born partially in the dynasty of irreligion. His grandfather was death personified, and the boy grew up as his follower. He became a greatly religious person.
So in the purport, Prabhupada explains that how a child, even though born of a good father, may become sinful. So Prabhupada explains that the child's mother, Sunita, was daughter of death personified. And generally, the daughter receives the qualifications of her father and the son acquires those of mother. So according to axiomatic truth and Smriti Shastra, the child born from King Anga became the follower of the principles of maternal grandfather, who was death personified. So if the maternal family is very corrupt or sinful, then the child, even though born of a good father, becomes or acquires the qualities of the maternal family. Questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, I seek one clarification.
Yeah.
Death personified means Lord Yama, they mean?
No, Yamraj is no. Doesn't clarify here, although it's not Yamraj. Yamraj is actually a pure devotee. Here he's saying death personified means when we die. So there is a personality, Mrityu, who does the function of death. That is death personified. Yamraj
Prabhuji, I am not clear on that.
Yeah,
See, what
let me explain. Let me explain. So Yamraj is a pure devotee, and he gives punishment to those who are sinful. But the function of death, right? Just as we have various functions in the body, just as say you have the function of seeing, so there is a deity involved that facilitates the seeing function. Or when we eat, there is a deity involved for digestion. Similarly, the function of death is done by Mrityu. That is death personified is being referred to, and that is by nature is a sinful person. So Abhishek Prabhu is also asking that why is death personified considered sinful? No, is just the nature that they have. Uncle Abhishek Prabhu.
So the grandfather of Veena, who is it?
Mrityu, death personified.
Okay.
Right. So Vena's mother is Sunita, and Sunita is daughter of Mrityu, who is death personified.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. We'll finish the chapter very soon. Straightforward chapter. So now part 5 is verses 40 to 49. Anga leaves home due to Vena's atrocities. All the verses here are pretty straightforward verses. Mother Jija, 40 to 42 translations, straightforward on Vena's cruelty.
Text 40. After fixing his bow and arrow, the cruel boy used to go to the forest and unnecessarily kill innocent deer, and as soon as he came, all the people would cry, "Here comes cruel Veena! Here comes cruel Veena!" Text 41. The boy was so cruel that while playing with young boys of his age, he would kill them very mercilessly, as if they were animals meant for slaughter. Text 42. After seeing the cruel and merciless behavior of his son, Vena, King Anga punished him in different ways to reform him, but was unable to bring him to the path of gentleness. He thus became greatly aggrieved. Hare Krishna.
So Gopal Prabhu will read 43 to 46 translations plus purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 43 translation. The king thought to himself, persons who have no son are certainly fortunate. They must have worshipped the Lord in their previous lives so that they would not have to suffer the unbearable unhappiness caused by the bad son. Text 44 translation. Yes,
Purports also?
There is no purport in 43, Prabhu.
Yeah, there is.
The book I have.
We don't have the book.
The
Really?
book.
Yeah, we are reading directly from the book.
Okay.
Yeah, Prabhu, even we don't have.
Somehow the online one has. All right. So read from the screen for now. You can see the screen. I will change the settings. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. It is said that is text 44. This purport is there under text after 44, Prabhu. The book.
All right. Somehow the online. Okay, continue reading. All right.
It is said that a married couple must have a son, otherwise their family life is void. But a son born without good qualities is as good as blind eye. A blind eye has no use for seeing, but it is simply unbearably painful. The king therefore thought himself very unfortunate to have such a bad son. Text 44 translation. A sinful son causes a person's reputation to vanish. His irreligious activities at home cause irreligion and quarrel among everyone, and this creates only endless anxiety.
There's no purport.
Yeah, the same purport was there in the book. And
online and the book have interchanged the purports. That's okay. Continue.
Text 45 translation. Who, if he is considerate and intelligent, would desire such a worthless son? Such a son is nothing but a bond of illusion for the living entity, and he makes one's home miserable. Text 46 translation. Then the king thought, a bad son is better than a good son because a good son creates an attachment for home, whereas a bad son does not. A bad son creates a hellish home from which an intelligent man naturally becomes very easily detached. Purport. The king began to think in terms of attachment and detachment from one's material home. According to Prahlad Maharaja, the material home is compared to a blind well. If a man falls down into a blind well, it is very difficult to get out of it and begin life again. Prahlada Maharaja has advised that one give up his blind well of home life as soon as possible and go to the forest to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to Vedic civilization, this giving up of home by a vanaprastha and sannyasa is compulsory. But people are so attached to their homes that even up to the point of death, they do not like to retire from home life. King Anaga, therefore, thinking in terms of detachment, accepted his bad son as a good impetus for the detachment from home life. He therefore considered his bad son his friend since he was helping him become detached from his home. Ultimately, one has to learn how to detach oneself from attachment to material life. Therefore, if a bad son, by his bad behavior, helps a householder to go away from home, it is a boon. Hare Krishna.
So this is the second crux of our discussion in this chapter 13, that people without a son are fortunate, and that a bad son is better than a good son. The analogy of a blind eye is given to describe a bad son, that a son born without good qualities is as good as a blind eye. A blind eye has no use for seeing, but it is simply unbearable pain. So King Anga therefore thought himself that, okay, actually this is better to have a bad son, because the bad son is going to help him get detached. I mean, it's also unfortunate to have a bad son, but King Anga is referring to the point that that situation is actually better if somebody wants to get detached, if he cannot detach by himself. Questions, comments, realizations?
Adversity brings opportunity
Correct.
to get detachment.
Correct. All right. The rest of the chapter is also straightforward. Chandran Prabhu, 47 to 49 translations plus purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 47. Thinking like that, King Anga could not sleep at night. He became completely indifferent to household life. Once, therefore, in the dead of night, he got up from bed and left Vena's mother, his wife, who was sleeping deeply. He gave up all attraction for his greatly opulent kingdom, and unseen by anyone, he very silently gave up his home and opulence and proceeded towards the forest. Purport. In this verse, the word Mahodaya Yodayat indicates that by the blessing of a great soul, one becomes materially opulent. But when one gives up attachment to material wealth, that should be considered an even greater blessing from the great source. It was not a very easy task for the king to give up his opulent kingdom and young, faithful wife, but it was certainly a great blessing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that he could give up attachment and go out to the forest without being seen by anyone. There are many instances of great souls leaving home in this way in the dead of night, giving up attachment for home, wife, and money. Text 48. When it was understood that the king had indifferently left home, All the citizens, priests, ministers, friends, and people in general were greatly aggrieved. They began to search for him all over the world, just as a less experienced mystic searches out the super soul within himself. Purport. The example of searching for the super soul within the heart by the less intelligent mystics is very instructive. The absolute truth is understood in three different features, namely impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such Pyojino or less intelligent mystics can, by mental speculation, reach the point of the impersonal Brahman, but they cannot find the super soul who is sitting within each living entity. When the king left, it was certainly that he was staying somewhere else, but because the citizens did not know how to find him, they were frustrated like the less intelligent mystics. Text 49. When the citizens could not find any trace of the king after searching for him everywhere, they were very disappointed and they returned to the city, where all the great sages of the country assembled because of the king's absence. With tears in their eyes, the citizens offered respectful obeisances and informed the sages in full detail that they were unable to find the king anywhere. Thus end the Bhakti purports of the fourth canto, 13th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Description of the Descendants of Dhruva Maharaja. Hare Krishna.
Very good. Questions, comments, realizations? All right, spiritual endeavor questions. Question number 1. What should we avoid while worshipping Shri Radha Krishna in the temple? Comes from verse 28. Second, explain how King Anga's misfortune in family life was conducive to his spiritual advancement. Comes from verses 39, 46, and 47. And for next class, read Canto 4, Chapter 14.
Prabhuji, would you please repeat question 2 again?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Question 2 is explain how King Anga's misfortune in family life was conducive to his spiritual advancement.
Thank you.
Comes from 39, 46, and 47. All right, we won't cover anything more. It's already late in India anyway. Thank you all for adjusting again for today. We'll stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.